Weekend project time, and we're going to put together a Vac-u-form table that is light and portable. Only thing that you're not going to see in the rest of the timeless video is me gluing this stuff here to this stuff here. This is going to be my insulation base and the shape of the Vac-u-form itself. So should work out rather well. So like I said, unless you enjoy watching this stuff be glued to this stuff, you're not going to miss anything. Okay, I've got an 18 by 24 piece of plexiglass that I'm building this for. So what I'm doing right now is taking the pegboard that's 2 feet by 2 feet and cutting out the rough shape where I want the plexiglass that once has been heated to be the base for my frame. The idea is that I have enough space that I can get something about, let's say 16 by 20 to Vac-u-form down without too much trouble. So I've got to cut out the front of the frame, the back of the frame, and then I'll bolt the two together. Now I've got to assemble the frame. So I've got the two pieces here lining up the holes on the pegboard and putting the plexiglass between the two sheets so that when I heat it, the plastic can sag nicely. This is the pegboard and the silver insulation that I glued down earlier. I didn't get that on video, but you can see the final product here. This is making the oven for heating the plexiglass. It's going to be a 2 foot by 2 foot cube that I can put a small space heater down in the center of to heat up the plexiglass in the frame so that I can then take that onto the Vac-u-form. This keeps it out of the oven and makes it very portable. The sides are held together with zip ties, so when I'm done with it, I can either squish it into a 4 foot by 2 foot shape, or if I cut the zip ties on one side, I could fold it down to 2 foot by 2 foot. What I'm doing right now is cutting some risers. This is going to separate the very back of the Vac-u-form from the pegboard section. I want to have several scattered about that will keep the two sections from ever sagging together. And the whole idea here is that you don't want to have anything that's going to stop the airflow in the area. With the risers cut, I'll need to see how I want them arranged on the pegboard. I'll use some more sprayed adhesive to hold them in place, but there's one long bar that I'm going to put on the section with the holes in it. I don't want to put it on that because I don't want that riser to actually obstruct the airflow. I want to make sure that I arrange it to where it doesn't have any of the holes being stopped up. So now it's time to put in the vent port. This is where the vacuum is going to draw all the air out. I'm using a drill to chop out a section that I can put my adapter into. I'm going to use some foil tape to lock that down, and then some Gorilla Tape on top of that to kind of make sure everything's sealed up nicely and tight. Using the foil tape and the Gorilla Tape combined works well because the foil tape can fold up really, really small, but the Gorilla Tape can take abuse that the foil tape can't. So now I'm assembling the front and the back halves. I'm using Gorilla Tape to put the corners together first so that we're square on all edges. Then I'm coming back with foil tape to make sure I've got an airtight seal all the way around the project. After the foil tape's in place, I'm going to add Gorilla Tape because it can take the abuse of things that happen in the shop. And it makes a very nice finish for when we're going on to the next step. Now we're going to do a rough test just to see how well the vacuum's doing. I've got the plexiglass still in the form, but I didn't want to heat it up. I just wanted to see if all the holes seem to be drawing air when other holes are filled in on this pegboard. So what I've got is a single sheet or a single ply of trash bag laying up under the frame so it's right there against it. And this would be more or less what would happen when plastic is sagging into the area. So now all I'm going to do is turn on my little shop vac here and see how it looks. And I think you can see from that it's got a pretty good suction. It's fairly evenly dispersed. You can see all the holes in the pegboard underneath, so I think we're in good shape. I might put a small riser in the center so that we can get the actual objects kind of off the frame, already pushing through the plastic even when it's drawing down. But you know, other than a couple of little fill-in spots, I think we are good.